Hey, everybody, this is Joe Joseph, and this is the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. I want to go to Anti-War. That's right, great website, antiwar.com. They asked the question, are we headed for a replay of World War I? Now, one thing that they'll say is thanks to Trump, perhaps not. Because typically what you'll see is it being driven by the central banks. Now, it remains to be seen if we'll have regional conflicts. I don't think we're going to have a world. I think we already have a world conflict. And that World War III is actually going on, if not World War 23. And it's not like it ever stopped. May have changed, countries participating, the types of warfare that's being waged. But certainly, warfare has not stopped since World War I. But it's funny, they point out that yesterday, Sunday, was the 100th anniversary of Woodrow Wilson's message to Congress asking for the declaration of war against the Central Powers. And thus, the whole Great War begins, a conflict, of course, that destroyed European civilization and set the stage for the rise of Bolshevism, Nazism, and the deaths of millions of people in World War II. And what did President Wilson embody? He was basically the guy that solidified that state worship, centralized government, progressive, that was considered progressive. If you gave more power to the government, and you had less responsibility to deal with, that was considered progressive. When if you think about it, really it's regressive, because the less you know, the less you're able to survive or be self-reliant, the less progressive it actually is. You're not making progress. You're not expanding your horizons. You're not becoming more efficient. You're not becoming more intelligent. What's happening is you're becoming a lazy person that relies on a government god and a centralized power to support the culture of convenience, your culture of convenience. And that's what Wilson was all about. But also to push the bankster agenda. Of course, in 1913, the 16th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, making it possible for the federal government to impose a progressive income tax, which happened to be plank number 2 of the Communist Manifesto, by the way. And that set the stage later that year for the Federal Reserve Act, December 23rd. It happened, of course, when Congress is in session and, are not in session and home for the holidays. They call a quick session of Congress. Of course, in 1913, it's not like you could just hop on an airplane and get to D.C. It took time, and they passed the Federal Reserve Act. It was planned in 1910 at Jekyll Island. You can read a book called The Creature of Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, fantastic book, to detail the background of the start of the Federal Reserve. And what that did was transfer the power to create money from the government, the American government, to a private bank. So you had this set the stage for unrest. You had World War I, you had the unrest in Europe, and the financial unrest also promotes warfare because there's money in war. Samuel P. Bush was on the War Industries Board during World War I with the Remington families. The Bush family made millions of dollars during World War I by selling ammunition to both sides of the war and other materials as well. So, absolutely, could it be a setup to a new World War I? I guess. I think warfare has changed. I think it's evolved, if you will. And there are many different types now, more than there used to be. And it's not necessarily I don't think you're going to see another war fought a la World War I and World War II, where you have massive, massive troop movements. I think you're looking more along the lines of technology taking over and fighting war where you don't see your enemy, a la cyber warfare, economic warfare, even the latest advancements in technology and weaponry. All of it changes the whole dynamic to where you can be at war and your citizenry will never know it. So when they ask the question, are we seeing maybe a replay of World War I would give the quantum response and say yes and no at the same time. I'm Joe Joseph. This was the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. Subscribe to this YouTube channel today and check us out over at thedailysheeple.com and have a great day. Take care.